Hello my spooky aliens, welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, hi, I'm Jojo Rarity.
Warning. The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
First of all, I want you to shoot my new shirt. Can't see it from the... Looks super cool. If you know the shiny, you know what I mean. In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the horror movies I watched in September. Like, if you watch my videos, I always do that. I always watch like horror movies starting in September, of course, until Halloween comes. And this time I didn't watch like every day because I didn't have time, but I watched like 16 movies in total. It's already a lot. And yeah, I do this every year actually, where I always like want to show you what I watched, like all the horror movies that I watched during the month of September. And let's get started. The first movie I watched is called Prey, and you can find it on Disney on Disney Plus. And if you know the Predator movies, then you know what the movie is about. It's actually 1,000 years before. I don't know exactly how many years, but it's like before everything, like before the Predator first movie. Also really back in the past, there's like an alien advanced kind of creature that we all know called Predator in the movies, and it all goes way back, which is crazy if you think about it. It's about these Comanche homicide white people. They're like a tribe, and it's like, of course, way back in the past, and they came across this alien person, and of course he's gonna hunt them one by one. And the movie is actually really brutal. Didn't expect that. More brutal than the other movies, I kind of think so. And it was pretty good actually. It was also interesting to know about how long these predators actually exist. It was like the first predator ever. And then there's this warrior girl who like need to protect her tribe. It's like a really brutal movie, and I quite enjoyed it. So the next movie is Battle Royale, and I finally watched it. I always wanted to watch it. I always heard about it, I always know this movie existed, but I never got the chance to watch it, I guess. And it's like from Japan, and people always say it's kind of like the Hunger Games, but actually Battle Royale was first, then Hunger Games, because it's a pretty old movie actually, and it's pretty brutal also, more than Hunger Games. It's kind of like the same story, that's why, because it's about like 42 ninth graders who are sent to an island, and they have to survive. Like they're giving like maps, food, weapons and everything, and just one thing they need to do is kill each other, and only one person survives. And if they don't follow the rules, they have like collars on, and the head's gonna be exploded, something like that. Because like also like Japanese movies are always like super brutal, and that's why. But it was also of course drama, because of course Asian movies also always have drama in it. It was kind of like, of course, sad that these kids need to kill each other to survive. And also, one person only needs to survive, and if they do, they can leave the island behind. And if they don't kill each other, and some people survive, like more than one survivor, their collars will also explode, so no one survives. So I really enjoyed this movie. The next movie is The Hills Have Eyes 2. And I already watched this movie before, but it's been a long time. I always thought it was bad, because I always loved the first movie. I mean, like it's the new ones, I mean the remakes. And actually wasn't that bad than I expected. I forgot about it kinda, because the first movies are always the best for me, and I always watched so many times. This time it's about some National Guard who like have a patrol to do like in New Mexico, and then they heard a signal from the mountains that some people needed help, like the military or something disappeared, or the doctors kind of disappeared, so it happened to them. And so the guard came to the mountain range, like where like the first movie happened. So we all know like those where the cannibal people live, like the vicious mutants who look so ugly and scary. And of course didn't know that they still survived, because I thought everyone died. Didn't know that people, like those people, still live there. So they came across these people, and National Guard need to fight them to survive, something like that. And yeah, if you like this kind of movies, My favorite movie has always been like slasher movies and like brutal movies. So still for me, Death of Ice 1 is better than this, but I think you can watch it. It wasn't that bad. One of my favorite horror movie franchises are the Saw movies, and my favorites are always gonna be 1 and 2. And this time I watched Saw 3 and Saw 3 of course continues with the story, and this time there was like a doctor. Maybe I won't spoil that much if you haven't watched it actually. So I was gonna say it continues of course Jigsaw. As I said, like it continues the story of Saw 2, but this time it's totally different because like if you watched part 2, it's like there's many people who need to like survive. They can like they go around and there's like many traps lying around, right? But this movie there's only one guy who like lost his son, and then he needs to do like some tasks to like he wants to revenge his son actually. Like everyone is there like who did something to him or like responsible for his death. So he needs to like do some tasks to either save them or let them die. It's like kind of about how good is he a good person or not. And so he needs to do this actually. So it's not really about him that much, but about like what he can do, like if he's a forgiving person or not. And of course there's also other story with Jigsaw and everyone else like who's part of 1 and 2 kind of also comes to that story. So I don't want to say so much, but like if it's not really for everyone I think, because Saw is like really torture kind of horror, and if you're not into that, then I think you should watch like those Saw movies. So the next movie is called The Call. It was kind of weird and boring movie. I just found it like on Amazon Prime and just wanted to watch it because I wanted to watch some horror movies that I haven't watched. Tobin Bell is in this movie. Everything else is like bad. So I don't know, it's like about 5 years later, like those 4 friends, like after like a death of an old woman they thought is a witch, because like there's an old woman in the beginning and they kind of blamed her for like from the girls, like her sister kind of died and they blamed the old woman. So then it's like 5 years later after her death, and then they kind of meet up, and like the husband Tobin Bell kind of grieves for his wife, and so he invited those kids who were kind of like mean to his wife. They invited back to the home, and he said he needs to call this number. It's like the woman is dead, right? But the guy left like a phone in her casket, and so they need to call the number, and like they need to stay on the call like for a minute, and if not, they're gonna be lost forever, I guess. Like they're kind of in hell in a call. It's like weird things happening, and I don't know, we didn't quite like it that much. It's kind of weird story and nothing much like happened in the beginning. So it's not really like the best movie to watch. The next movie is called Haunt, or like Halloween Haunt, but I think it's short, it's called Haunt, and it's one of my favorite new horror movies actually. It's like my second time I watched it because I really want to watch it again, and it's about like a group of friends who want to go to a Halloween party. So yeah, so they go to this kind of, it's like an abandoned warehouse actually, but what I didn't expect is like the darkest fears come to life, and things were kind of too much real, and they thought at the beginning it was just for show, but then of course there's some creepy things really happening, and some guys with some masks on who are haunting those friends. And yeah, it was a pretty good movie. I loved the story, it was brutal, and the characters were likable, and everything was like really a good horror movie. Like you don't see that much anymore, like new horror movies, but that's like for sure my new favorite one. The next movie, number 7, is Dreamcatcher, and it's a Stephen King book which I haven't read. So anyway, it's like that's like a flashback about this like 4 friends who like helped out like a boy who's like so special because he's like from this world that you later on realized, and so they kind of got these powers. In the future, they kind of needed the powers to save their lives, kind of. So then later on, like grew up. They're like older now, and the cast were also like pretty good. I think pretty good cast, and so then they want to go like on a hiking trip or whatever, like in the wilderness, and then there's like a blizzard, so they're kind of trapped in their cabin or whatever it's called, and then there's like a alien force standing out there, which I meant to say they're on a hunting trip, not hiking trip, because like it's the winter and it's kind of pretty cold around Maine, and so there's like an alien and kind of like an alien invasion happening, but they have these powers, so they need to like, of course, they need to prevent the alien invasion happening. There's also like a military who like is out to get them because they're like in quarantine, can't go out because they know what's happening there. It's like only around there, like where they are, I guess, around the woods in Maine. And so it's pretty interesting actually. The next movies I want to put together that I watched is Candyman, the old one and then the new one from 2021. Like the first one was like 1992. And so I never watched also the old Candyman movies. I only watched the first part though. And then skipped 2 and 3 and then went to watch the new one because it's not really related. But Candyman 1 is related to the new Candyman kinda. It's almost like a continuation if you think about it. So that's why I wanted to watch those 2 in a row. So it's about this woman, Helen Lyle, who befriends a woman called Anne Marie, who lives in Chicago's Cabrini Green kind of housing. It's a place where like poor people live and kind of not a safe neighborhood. And because she's a reporter and wants to do like a suspicious kind of reporting in that neighborhood because there was like a murder happening and she wanted to figure out what's been happening. And so because of Anne Marie, you kind of get to know about this person called Candyman. And because they suspect he's the one doing the killings. And then then Helen actually kind of saw a person who kind of fit the description who looks like Candyman, but wasn't really. She isn't sure. But then she believes maybe the urban legend is true, that Candyman actually exists, because no one really knows if he exists or not. Talking about Candyman, the newest one, I liked how they connect the dots, and also like the fact that they made Candyman like a compelling character who became so interesting, because it's actually not only one person, there are more, and that's why they kind of explored it more. Also, I loved how they explored like the black community in this movie, because like before, like in the old times, like black and white people can't be together or can't be friends, and it was kind of sad, of course. But I like how they do that, and like explored also this theme, and also it's like about racism and about races, something like that. And it's because of, it's like from Jordan Peele, and that's why we want to watch a new one, because I love Jordan Peele's movies. They're pretty good. He always like talk about race and everything, and the main characters are always like interesting also and good. So that's why, even though it wasn't, Candyman is not really one of my favorite movies, I still love how he did that movie. And like the main guy wasn't really my favorite, but like his girlfriend was more interesting, I think, for me. And it was also more brutal. Like the deaths were like so good and more brutal. In the first part, nothing much happened in the beginning, but this one like kind of got into more brutal stuffs. But the whole movie's about, so that's why the movie was pretty good actually done. So number 10 movie on my list is called Hellfest. And it's so weird, I never heard about it because it seems like something I would totally like, and because it kind of reminds me of Haunt, the movie. It's like so similar. I could do like a comparison video one by one, and I kind of like this kind of premise in the movies, like about some friends who want to go to a Halloween party. And I love the movie actually. The characters are also likable. I do love Haunt more a little bit, but this one also pretty good. And so when they entered this carnival, there's like a person who kinda is after them, and so it kind of became more real, and the killer kind of makes the place his own personal playground and haunting these friends one by one. And of course he can't get away with it because everyone is like in costumes, right? Everyone have like fake weapons or whatever. I don't know if you can bring weapons, but like also the people like who work there, I mean. So it's like easy to get away with it because people think you're crazy or think like it's only like acting. They think like those people who work there take it too seriously or something. But yeah, so it's also brutal, and so I really like this kind of movies though. Halfway through the list, so the 11th movie is called Books of Blood. and it's actually like many short stories from Clive Barker, who like writes a lot of horror books. He also wrote like Candyman. Candyman is supposed to be like a short story, like a journey into like 3 different tales that kind of got connected in the end. Like the first part was like about a girl called Jenna, and the second part was like about Simon, and the last part was about the second part was about Mary and Simon, and then like the last part was like also everything connected, and like through time, like through their lives, like kind of connected their lives together. It's pretty interesting to see also. So creepy, the stories, but really well made. Yeah, so it's like a recommend watch, I guess. So number 12 movie is Annihilation, and it's actually called Slate also. I don't know, maybe in Germany to change the title. I don't know. So actually the movie wasn't that bad. It's like I would like it more if it was kind of like a mini series or something, because like it was kind of like so slow for a horror movie. Because horror movie, right? You also want anything to happen, like you want this to happen, and then there's like a beginning or like about a storyline. But I do love horror movies with like a good storyline, like good characters, something like that. So it's about like a killer, like killing spree in this campus, and because like there's like a star athlete who died, was brutally murdered in his dorm, and so they want to find out who did that. And I didn't expect also, sometimes I never know who the killer is in the end, so the ending was kind of a twist. Didn't expect that. So without spoiling anything, 1 these people die, and it's kind of like Scream, because you don't know who's next or who's gonna die next and who's the killer. You need to figure out. So if you like kind of like slasher movies, this one wasn't really like so much happening, but as I said, it wasn't really a bad storyline. The storyline was actually interesting to see, but it's more made for like a series than a movie. The next movie on my list is called Blackwater Abyss, and it's like in Australia, deep in the forest, and so these kind of friends wanted to explore a cave, because why not? It's an Australian horror movie, and I actually liked it. It wasn't that bad. But this movie is about crocodiles, and so they go into this cave, right? But then as like a tropical storm happens, so they're trapped in this cave. There's no way out. But the problem is something darker lurking in the water, and those are deadly crocodiles. So they're like deep in the water and need to survive the crocodiles that are after them. And so it's about survival. It's not really that brutal and scary, more like a thriller suspense movie. But I do like this kind of movies, also doing like water movies. They need to survive, and it's kind of good movie, and it's like watchable for sure. Number 14 on my list is Child's Play, the 2019 version. I know, because there's so many Child's Play movies out there, and I love Child's Play. Like Chucky is one of my favorite serial killers. So this movie is so stupid because it's a robot. So they changed the story, because it's not a person who got like voodoo himself into the doll, right? Like it's actually a serial killer who got transported into the toy's body. It was like a cool story, but they make it like a robot, like AI. Like it can move, it can talk normally. That's why it's not as shocking when they move and talk to you, because it's supposed to be like your best friend. The original movies is only a doll, so this one is a robot. So weird. Also Mark Hamill voices Buddy, and I love Mark Hamill. He does great voices, and he's always so good in voicing any character, but he couldn't even help the movie. So this one was really, really, really bad. As I said, it's about Andy. He's a buddy. Like same story, but they made it differently. And so he and his neighborhood friends want to get rid of Buddy and save the people of this town. And yeah, it's really a bad movie. Don't watch it. Watch the original ones, or watch the series, which is also pretty dope, and also better returns. Everyone returns. So yeah. So last 2 movies, and number 15 is Unhuman. It's like a Blumhouse movie, and yeah, it's really good. I actually liked it. It's like about these students who like are in a bus, right, going somewhere, and then something happened, and like some unhuman creatures are after them, and they're kind of also called zombies, if I gotta say it. And I do love zombie movies, so I wanted to give this a try. And it's like so many twists in this movie, like about these kids like who need to survive, but in the end, like I don't want to spoil anything, you don't expect the outcome, and also like how this happened, everything they explain in the end, which was pretty a twist for me. So I really like the movie because like I did expect it. I like movies where I don't know like how the end is gonna be like. So the last movie is called The Bear, and oh my god, I really like this movie actually. It's about this guy called Jay, and he wants to have a normal family night with his family, and then gets kidnapped by some guy, and then he wakes up in like an abandoned place, like he doesn't know where he is. So it's kind of like Saw in the beginning, I thought, because he wakes up, there's 3 different strangers, and they're kind of like chained to the floor, and so like they can't move, and they can't go anywhere, of course, because they're chained. Like one arm is chained to the floor or something. And so then a guy comes in and gives them like challenges, kind of torture them, beat them or whatsoever, and don't need to figure out how to escape this crazy guy with a mask. And so there's also flashbacks and everything, and I did like the storyline. There was like a storyline also. Like I said before, I like horror movies with like a storyline. I don't want to spoil anything, so it's kind of like a twist in the ending because they figure out something, and also to figure out what the killer actually wants from them. I mean, like the one who kidnapped them. I mean, they want to figure out why he's doing this to them, why he's wearing a mask, why he's hiding. Did I know this person or not? So I didn't expect that kind of ending also. And I like this kind of movies where you don't know what's happening. Of course, it's wrong if you know everything. Maybe you're a person, you always figure everything out. Like me, I want to be like shocked, and then the realization hits later, like, damn, what is this movie? So yeah, it's a good watch, I think. It's also like brutal because like about torture, that's what I like saw, so it's not for everyone, I guess. Yeah. I'm gonna end this video here and hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please give a thumbs up. Also comment down below what horror movies did you watch, or like what horror movies do you wanna watch or wanna recommend to me that I can watch. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to put on the post notifications so you know exactly when I upload every Wednesdays and Saturdays. So my spooky friends, see you on my next video. Bye.